'Cause that's the bottom line. 'Cause Stone Cold said so.
What up, wrestling fans? FaceManBuddha. It's Monday, September 21st, 2015. Appreciate you stopping by and tuning in. It's a Raw review. There was Monday Night Raw, obviously, tonight. It was okay overall. It was decent. I don't know, maybe I'm being a little harsh. I don't think it was anything excellent. You know, Raw has not been very good for the past, 6, 7, 8 years. Last decade, it really hasn't been that great. But the past 6 or 7 years, with the exception of Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, really, in my opinion, there's been a lot more lows or misses than hits and successes, although there have been moments which are very cool, and I appreciate those moments. The show, again, overall was decent. It wasn't bad. I don't know, I guess a 7 out of 10 in my humble opinion. Nothing amazing. There weren't any great surprises or anything. Some of the promos were actually pretty good. The overall matches were all right. Nothing special. Some of them were really kind of replays in a way of what happened at Night of Champions. So, having said that, the Wyatts came out and did an in-ring promo to start the show, which was decent. You know, again, I literally like Wyatt. I like Luke Harper, Strowman. He's all right. I really don't think he's going to last too long. I think they should bring back Eric Rowan to be along with Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. I think they're a lot better that way. I also like Bray Wyatt very much. However, I sometimes feel, which he's cut down a lot, he's not rambling as much as he used to and going into diatribes on the microphone. However, most time when he's starting going into those harangues, he gets people lost and he talks kind of in circles, and I know that's part of the gimmick, but he really doesn't say that much, and everyone he ends up, who he's feuding with, he says the same things over and over again, so it kind of gets stale. I think his best work was actually with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. I think they had a great thing. Even he admitted they had some out-of-this-world chemistry, or they just like hit it off. I think that stuff was really good. So they had their promo in the ring. It was interrupted by Reigns, who came down, which was cool. He told Bray that he wanted to get into a fight. They didn't need to have a match, just to fight. They were fighting. He kind of got the best of him. Then, of course, Harper and Strowman jumped in, and then obviously Ambrose came running out. And then they were fighting, and then guess who? Randy Orton returned, which was cool. He got a big pop. Ambrose got a good pop. I would say Orton got a bigger or larger pop. The segment got better as it went on, in my opinion. The beginning was good, you know, and what I liked really about the opening of this show, which I will give them credit for, is that it was different than the normal diatribes and harangues that usually start the shows with the Authority or Seth Rollins talking for 15 or 22 minutes. I mean, I'm exaggerating by 5 or 6 minutes, but there were many, many, many months of him coming out on Raw and SmackDown and literally talking for, at the very least, 14 minutes and at times up to 18, 19, 20 minutes. Same thing with the Authority. They would come out and Triple H and Stephanie would be the heel Authority, and they would just go on and on and on. And every week was the same verbiage, very boring. Nothing against them. I like Stephanie. I think she's a phenomenal heel. I like Hunter. I think he's better as a heel than a face. But, how many months can you, and then when it turns into almost seem like years of them coming out, it gets very boring. And that's unfortunately, I think, Vince McMahon and his very insular and narrow-mindedness of how he likes the show to go. He's obviously very controlling. And when you're that way, it's hard for creativity to abound because you're controlling everything. And for me, I'm a little crazy. I really don't like controlling people. So unfortunately, the shows usually start off bad, but today was different. They didn't do that. They started off with this type of thing, completely different than, I don't know, in the past year or two, maybe. So I appreciated that, liked it very much. Then there was a promo, which was basically a review of the Night of Champions match between Rollins, Sting, Sheamus, and then Kane, meaning the Sting and Rollins match, but then Sheamus coming out to cash in his Money in the Bank, which he didn't because then Kane interrupted, and then that whole scenario. Then they had a backstage promo, was Rollins going into Triple H's room to talk to Triple H and Stephanie. However, Corporate Kane was in there. They showed Corporate Kane from the back. I pretty much thought it was him. He turned around, and it was him. Funny thing about Kane, which I appreciated, he was very bubbly and happy and kind of acting like a big overgrown kid, which was funny. So I guess he's trying to show either a bipolarism or some type of duality between his character, which I think could work. I think if he keeps playing this, bubbly, ha 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 ha, and then, every now and then flipping to this crazy person or the demon's son, the favorite son of the demon, I think that would be a good thing. So he was talking to Kane. Kane basically alluded that he didn't come out the night before and he didn't attack anyone or anything. And that he also enforced a rematch between Cena and Rollins, which was a championship match, which would be the main event at the end of the night of Raw. Seth was pretty good. He was like, I think I need to leave right now. In so many words, he was like, I think my feeling is I need to leave the room right now. So that was actually pretty good. Again, I thought the segment was good. I liked the Kane's character of this ambivalent and being like, well, I wasn't here, and splitting the personality, which is what they're doing. So hopefully they continue that. Whether or not they will, who knows. After that, there was Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus Stardust and the Ascension, which was basically a repeat of the Night of Champions match. It was rather short, I would say, thankfully. I wasn't really interested at all. Maybe it was actually a good match. I had trouble watching it. I kind of started doing other things because they just had this match last night, and the match was okay last night, nothing wrong with it, but why do you have a match of Night of Champions, a pay-per-view, and the next night you do the same thing over again? It makes no sense. If it would have been a phenomenal match, and then you're trying to, tip the hat again the second night, fine, but it wasn't that. So, again, maybe it was a good match. Maybe people will disagree with me. I was rather bored in it and found it, I was happier that it was short and pretty much ended short and sweet, rather. From what I recall, Stardust and the Ascension won, unless I forget wrongly. Then I think there was another backstage promo with Rollins, Stephanie, and Triple H. Triple H and Stephanie end up talking to, I think, was Kane there? I don't know. Maybe Kane wasn't there, but I remember they were talking, and Kane, I think from what I remember, Kane must have come in, and he was pretending that it wasn't with Rollins, it was Kane. That's right, it wasn't Rollins. That's why I got messed up. Sorry, it wasn't Rollins. It was Kane, Stephanie, and Triple H. And Kane was basically saying, I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't say he wasn't there last night, but he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, when Stephanie was like, oh, we know what you did yesterday. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So again, he basically was alluding and underscoring the fact that, I wasn't there last night. That wasn't, the demon monster Kane. I wasn't there. So he's been playing this bipolar thing, which I like. I think it works well. And he finished by telling Stephanie that if she lost the mask, because she actually asked him for the mask. She says, give it to me. And she put out her hand. And it was actually funny. He went and gave her 5. And she goes, no, Kane, I didn't ask you to give me 5. I asked you to give it to me, your mask. And he was like, what? I don't have it. What are you talking about? And she points to the little glass case behind her and says, the mask, it's not. He's like, oh my God, it's not there. And then, he was being all bubbly. And then he got serious for a second. And he said, the last moment is, I gave it to you. You were the last person that had it. So then he got serious. He's like, and if you lost it, that would be a very big problem. So he went to his cane, showing his bipolarism there, which I liked. I enjoyed that. After that, that was the end of the segment. So it was a pretty good segment. I've already explained why I like it. Then there was Ryback versus Bo Dallas. You got a Bo leave. Owens came out and did commentary, which was pretty decent. Nothing amazing, but it was pretty good. He was at ringside. Thought the match overall was pretty good. Nothing great. Ryback does his shell shock after doing a meat hook clothesline, as Michael Cole always says. Then Owens jumped into the ring after Ryback got his win over Bo. Started to hit him, beat him up a little bit because he attacked him. And then Ryback was able to do the meat hook clothesline on him, meaning Owens. Owen rolled out, and that was the end of the segment. Trying to build more heat between them, which is fine. I think he still has to re-invoke his rematch clause, which I'm sure he will, probably by the next month's pay-per-view. After that, Ric Flair came to the ring. He got a good ovation. Nothing crazy, but a good ovation. He introduced Charlotte, talking about how proud he was of her and my little girl and all that. It was very cute, very sweet. She came out. I don't know if she necessarily thanked her dad, but she was telling him how great he was and that she wanted to be like him. So if he feels that she's done really great, that makes her feel, really worthy and, makes her heart swell with love and so forth and so on. I mean, I'm making those words up, but she was basically alluding to if he's proud of her, then she's very happy. Becky and Paige were in the ring as well. Then, thankfully, Paige did the Paige turn, and I don't mean her signature move, the Paige turner. I mean, she turned. She went from face to heel, which everyone was predicting, which people have been asking for a while. She unleashed a castigation, you could say, on the Divas division, calling it basically a joke and how full of shit it was in so many words. She didn't use those words, but how much of a joke it was, and that nothing has changed, and that all Charlotte is a placeholder for holding the title, and Becky is one of the least relevant people there. And then she was like, what happened? Where's Natalya? Where the hell did she go? She disappeared. She goes, this whole division's a joke. I thought it was a very good promo. I think it could have been better. I think if she would have had more of an attitude about it and had more time on the mic. She only was on the mic for a couple minutes, but if they would have given her a longer segment, I think it would have been better. She should have tried to do like what kind of, not to copy or bite off of AJ, but what AJ did when she did her quote unquote pipe bomb or so-called pipe bomb a la CM Punk, when she was talking about, and that's reality. She castigated the Divas division and all the dumb chicks. And I felt bad because Natalya was in the ring and she shouldn't have been. She shouldn't have been in that group of fake pseudo wrestlers, but she was, unfortunately. But, similar to that, I think it would have been better if she would have went off a little bit more, but she made her points about how full of shit the Divas division is. That basically, in so many words, no one can really wrestle. What happened to Natalya again? That nothing is going to change, and that Bella's going to get her title back, and it's going to be the same old, same old. So I thought it was a good promo. She left. The fans were applauding her. I'm not saying she had tremendous support, but they were at least basically cheering and agreeing with her. And when she turned and started saying nasty things, people were clapping. It was nothing against Charlotte. It was more people were supporting her for what she was saying about the Divas division and about the Bellas, which I find it funny because so many of these reviews that I watched lately of Night of Champions, people were talking about how great Nikki was in her match, and she had the match of her career, and she's so amazing. I don't know. I guess I'm looking through clogged eyes because I don't see any of that. I don't want to digress anymore. And unfortunately, Bella had to come bouncing down the aisle, and I mean that literally, with her fake boobs and her sister and Alicia. They're like, two bad pennies. When you see one, you see all three of them. She gave it to me, in my humble opinion, another boring promo, nonsensical, didn't really say anything. She talked in the same monotone all the time with the same inflection. Very boring listening to her. There was no heat, no cheers. There were a couple cheers of some teenage girls. They were like, yay, when her stupid music played of "You Can Look, But You Can't Touch," that stupid song. It's so stupid. And people could say, well, that means she got heat on you. No, there's no heat on me other than I find it annoying, and I don't find it annoying in that heel way. I just find it annoying in that self-vapidness way of it's just a joke. It's like watching a child. It's just who's obnoxious child. So then we had the Charlotte versus Brie Bella match. So as usual, we don't get fake tits, is the best way to call her, meaning Nikki, who has no talent. We get her less talented sister. So we always see the Bellas in every frickin' Raw, every frickin' SmackDown, and every frickin' pay-per-view. Sometimes we see them, unfortunately, twice a night. So we had to have the promo with her, then we had to have Brie Bella in the ring with Charlotte. So if it's not fake tits, we have her no tits, meaning her sister. Nothing against them as people. I know they're probably really nice people. Whatever. I'm talking about their characters, or their characterless characters, and their lack of ability in the ring. Match wasn't that good. Brie Bella did the same thing that Nikki did. She worked on Charlotte's leg. She basically mimicked the same match that her sister had the night before. I found that very boring. I found it cheesy that they just basically regurgitated the same thing. I wasn't impressed when Nikki did it because it was stupid that Charlotte got basically beat up for 95 to 98% of the match, or 99% of it did one thing, which was the figure eight thing, the spear, two things, and the figure eight bridge, which won her the match. Charlotte was great in it the other night, very good in it rather, but this match was very boring to me. I again will say that when Brie's in there, besides, well, first of all, Nikki's very static when she wrestles. She doesn't move very well. And then when Brie's in there, she telegraphs everything. So she's slow, but she shows exactly what she's going to do and sets up everything, and you see it like 50 minutes before she's going to do it. So wasn't a very good match. Thankfully, Charlotte won the figure eight bridge. I call it the bridge because she bridges herself. Forgetful match. Sorry for Charlotte. I wish she didn't have to wrestle that crap. You have Natalya. I don't know why she's not wrestling that girl. Or Sasha. Sasha came out. Sasha's not wrestling. Makes no sense in the world. The best wrestler between the two divisions between NXT and WWE is Sasha right now, besides Bayley, and neither of them, and Sasha's not being used. And you have Natalya as well. Then you had Sheamus versus Mark Henry. It was a quick match. Bro kick win by Sheamus. I don't think the match was anything great. Again, I lost interest in it. Then we had a backstage promo with Corporate Kane, Triple H, and Stephanie. Kane denies being Kane, meaning Corporate Kane denies being Kane at Night of Champions in so many words. This is when he threatened. Sorry, that's when he threatened Stephanie with if she lost the mask, that would be a problem. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Mixed notes, that's why the notes are mixed up. Then Paige was backstage, did a short promo with Natalya, which I think was one of the better parts of the show, actually, in my opinion. I thought it was a very good promo. It was with her. And like I said, Natalya, Paige was like, oh, look where you turned up, or he haven't seen you. She said something to that effect of like, where have you been? And then they panned over and it was Natalya standing there. She got a little bit of a pop, not much. I was happy to see her there. I was like, finally, like, maybe this will be good. And then Paige was like, oh, I guess you're going to, blah, 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 and go against me. And Natalya said, no, you have very valid points. And I agree with you on a lot of things, but if you think you're frustrated, what about me? I think Natalya should have been able to talk more, and she should have kind of not rambled, but she should have supported, like, I've been here for 10 years, and, I've been ignored, and blah, 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 and I've had to watch the Bellas. I think she should have gotten into it a little bit more, but maybe that's not her nature or whatever. Anyway, it was good, and she told Paige that, the only one that's keeping her back, meaning Paige, is herself, meaning Paige. That was the end of the promo. I thought it was a good promo. I wish it would have been a little bit longer, as I said. Also wish Natty would have gotten into it a little bit more. It also could have been cool if Natalya would have been like, yeah, I'm sick of the Bellas. I'm sick of all this, and I'm going to change things. And her and Paige kind of hooked up, which they didn't need to. I just believe that Natalya should have kind of gone off a little bit more and said how sick of she was of all this, Divas Division bullshit. After that, there was New Day. New Day came out. Woods was limping because of his going through the tables. He also was carrying a little plastic bag that had a piece of the table, which I guess, got impaled on him or something like that. He was talking about how in the ring, meaning talking about how, well, they have to create a strong wall around the Dudleyville and to protect us and the laws and the values and the furniture, which was kind of funny. It was decent, Then they had the 6-man tag match, which had the New Day, which is E and Kofi, along with Dolph Ziggler, who came out in his new outfits, and they took on the Dudleys with Rusev. Rusev got the pinfall after a super kick. Decent match, nothing amazing, and, just kind of ordinary. Maybe I'm looking at a cynical eye. I don't think so. I just think after watching wrestling for 40 years, almost, and seeing how bad wrestling's got in the last 10 years, but, last 6 years, it's been really just, especially with the Divas, it's just been horrible. And then you see NXT and you see how good the women are, and you see people like Sami Zayn, who's injured, and Neville, who is really amazing down there, and then he's come up and he hasn't really done anything, and they have him in this kind of comic book gimmick thing going, and I just don't know if that's going to really work for him in the long run. There's just so many people with talent, and they just, I don't know, don't always work out very well. Anyway, then we had Naomi and Natalya. I was very happy to see Natalya in the match. Match was relatively short. It was okay. Nothing really amazing. I think it's more because of Naomi, not trying to put her down. She's gotten a lot better. I would rather watch her than the Bellas any day, but still, I don't know if she's actually trying to cultivate her craft as a wrestler. When you practice stuff, you can see it. And when someone is doing it, you can say, hey, this person got better here, this person got better at that, whatever it is. It could be bouncing around the ring, whatever it is. And you definitely don't see that with the Bellas in my eyes, and I don't see that too much with Naomi. I know she's gotten better. I like her. I wish she could be a force to reckon with and become a good wrestler. Whether she will or not, I don't know. But the match wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't that good. There was a little bit of interference from Tamina, which distracted Natty, and then Naomi did the jumping ass move where she hits people with her big bubbly ass, knocks her out, gets the pinfall. Okay match. Like Natalya, I'm glad she's back. I hope they start using her, and in a real way rather than the stupid way that they are. If anything, it should have been Natalya and Charlotte wrestling. But of course, they won't do that because the Bellas have to have their airtime in every frickin' show. After that, we had a backstage thing with Triple H, Stephanie, and Rollins. It was short. Not too much, going on there other than get ready for your match with Cena, blah, blah, blah. After that, we had Big Show and Cesaro, which sounds pretty good. The match was It was okay, nothing bad. What I found strange, there was no build-up. It seemed very arbitrary or random. It just popped up out of nowhere to put these two together after so many months of them not wrestling. It just, I don't know, didn't really make sense. Of course, Big Show does his knockout punch on Cesaro, wins because of that, and then starts talking smack to Brock Lesnar, which is okay, fine. Then there was a backstage promo with Luke Harper talking about Randy Orton or towards Randy Orton. Strowman, had his one line. Then Bray came in and said, they all fall down and soon you will too, meaning Randy Orton. Short promo, short and sweet, which was good. It wasn't rambling, blah, 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 wasn't all that. So that was good. Then we had the main event. We had Super Cena versus Rollins for the United States Championship. Championship match, obviously, again, decent match, okay. To me, it was a little bit too much like the night before, which I thought was a better match at NOC. I liked their match at NOC. I don't think it was amazing, but I think it was good. And I thought Sting's match with Rollins was very good up until he got hurt. You got to remember, keep in mind that Sting is almost 60 years old. He's 56. It's not a spring chicken. Not that that's old. People say, oh, he's dead. It's not old, but, it's getting up there. And to be in a ring with someone half your age, I think Rollins is in his early 30s, and take those bumps to the table and stuff. I think he hit his head on the monitor, probably gave him a slight concussion. Then when he had whiplash, going into the turnbuckle of the buckle bomb or whatever they want to call it, hopefully he's okay. There's not much information I've checked on the net. They're saying in a way he suffered a serious neck injury, but I really hope it's more storyline than anything, but I don't think it is. But regardless, I just hope he's okay and recovers, and if he comes back and wrestles, not to do that again, because he does. You don't want someone breaking their neck or being permanently injured. Nevertheless, the match again was okay, decent. Rollins jumped Cena in the introduction of the match, which was funny. Good way to change it up. Some decent spots. Again, Super Cena wins after Rollins did, I think, a suplex or something on him, and then Cena did the rollover where he picks the person up and then throws them on their shoulders and does the A, which is cool, but when you see it every frickin' match, it gets boring. And because I'm stupid, it's boring to me. So seeing him do it once in a while is fine, and especially with someone bigger. But when you keep throwing that as in a signature move in every match you do, it just, it's stupid. It's just it's not as good. You lose. It's like seeing Brock Lesnar every night in every show. People would get sick of him. You have to space it out. So it was the same old kind of win. AA wins, blah, blah, blah. Super Cena saves the day, which was boring to me. The match was all right. Overall, the show was okay. Nothing great. I wish it would get better. I know they have problems with the writing, blah, blah, blah. All I can say is they used to have only a couple writers back in the Attitude Era, and they were able to promote great stuff Mondays and Fridays. SmackDown for a while was actually doing better than SmackDown, better than Raw for probably 6 months or a year at one point. And I know Paul Heyman. I was seeing his face and I just blanked on his name. Paul Heyman, he was writing for it. Most of the problem is they don't let the talent try to do impromptu, meaning improvising or being extemporaneous on the mic and doing what they did. New Day they're allowing New Day to do it now, but look at how long did it take New Day to get to that point? 6 months to a year. It's like probably better part of the last 2 or 3 months they've been getting over, and it took them probably 9 to 10 months to get to that point. And that's fine, but that's a long time, but they're not really letting other people do that. They finally rescinded telling Reigns to say suffering succotash and doing all these Warner Brothers stupid one-lines, which is good, but they don't allow enough people to do it. And back in the day in the Attitude Era, you had a lot of the wrestlers competing with each other, very friendly, trying just to one-up and pushing each other, and that's been gone for about 10 years now, unfortunately. So that was my review on the show. Thanks for stopping by. Be well.